Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Greer, CEO of Secure Content Technologies, and I have two amazing gentlemen with me today from Spektrum. I have Josh Brown, the CISO, and I have Max Perkins, Head of Insurance Solutions for Spektrum Labs. Welcome to both of you.
Yeah, thanks for having us again.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
So Josh, you and I have had a number of conversations about Spektrum Labs and what a game changer it is in this industry for multiple reasons, whether it be compliance or cyber insurance or a multitude of other things. But today we're specifically talking more about the cyber insurance angle. And we have a captivating topic about insurability, cybersecurity proof, and the Sophos initiative that you all have just recently announced.
Right.
And I'm really excited about that because that brings a whole lot of elements to my customers that makes their job of compliance and insurability much simpler for them and much more informational and effective. So I'm looking forward to the two of you gentlemen kind of explain how this is going to work and what the benefits are to organizations.
Sure. Yeah. And it's funny, Karen, as we've moved through this, depending on who we're talking to when we're talking about our platform and our solutions, we've traditionally kind of viewed the insurance piece as like the cherry on the top, like it's a side benefit of what we're doing and what we've built. But I think it's really exciting, and I agree with what you said, because there's no one else in the market that is even that I'm aware of anyway. Max, you may know more, but that is even approaching the problem. And it's a significant problem, and it's a structural problem. And I think the reason maybe why nobody has solved this one yet is it's a really hard problem to solve. And I'm really delighted where we are. And as you mentioned, we just launched this big initiative with Sophos, and it's just we're just kicking this off, right? This is just the starting point. And I think there's a lot of really exciting stuff to come.
Yeah. So can you guys kind of go through the whole, when I look at this and I address it, sit down with my customers, they're providing spreadsheets for the cyber insurance companies. They're providing screenshots. They're going through all these different things to say, oh, my backup worked last week at 9:00, right? It was backing up. But Spektrum Labs brings a whole different element to this table that I really think is super cool. And I'd love to hear you all kind of dive into that for us.
Yeah, sure. If you want, I can talk a little bit about the present or where we're coming from.
Sure.
Just to give it the context, because you're exactly right. We're coming from a world where screenshots would be nice. In many cases, we have answers with a checkbox to a question, and I can raise my hand and say I was, for well over a decade, almost two, I was one of the folks who was contributing to the writing of the application questions that we were asking someone at an organization like Josh's previous, where he was at a large global organization with thousands and thousands of employees that he was onloading and offloading on a regular basis, and contractors. And that's really complex. And then you have a small business owner who probably doesn't understand any of these questions and are asking their technology provider, and the technology provider is looking at it and saying, you're asking me a question that I think I understand where you're coming from. You want to understand, is MFA in place in the areas where it matters, and is it enforced? But you're asking this in a way that's really going to stitch everybody up, because it's not reality. It's not speaking to how security works. And there's no proof. Yeah. And the fact that that's the case is a hindrance not only to the buyer, and I know we're really talking about the buyers, but it's also a hindrance to the growth of the market. And so I'm a person who's worked around it, stateside, London, all over the place, in the reinsurance world and stuff, and cat bond. And I can tell you that the cyber insurance market is really sound and strong, and a thing that everybody needs to be a part of. But because of these limitations that we're talking about here, and it seems very nuanced, very narrow, it actually is the driver for all of the financial modeling that takes place to support and underpin the cyber insurance world. What does that mean? It means that the insurance may not grow with the pace of the anticipated buyers, meaning those who want to buy it, because we have a lot of organizations that don't buy. We have customers at Spektrum, and I think through our partners who are telling us, what you're doing at Spektrum is magic, because we would now feel comfortable buying, because we know that when Something is proven in Spektrum, suddenly it can be translated to an insurer, and we're not worried that they've misinterpreted our business. And that is alone going to move the needle.
Oh, absolutely it will. So I think you all are able to provide more real-time data, correct? So in other words, yes, MFA is working, but not just it's working. It's been working all along continuously. It's not like a spot in time where you're saying, oh, I checked on my MFA 2 weeks ago and it looked good. Yep. You're all able to provide more of a near real time.
And backups too, which is funny. I highlight MFA. It's what people talk about because Josh, correct me. You both correct me. Like that tends to be the entry point for the threat actors. They're leveraging holes around MFA or lack thereof. Yeah. But it's actually the backups that cost the insurance community money, because it's when an organization can't get back up and running, can't be resilient, that costs the payouts that they're stacking up. And that,
it's a great point, Max. Because I think, you know, a lot of CEOs and boards assume that the average outage from a ransomware event, for example, is, you know, 3 or 4 days, right? But the average is 26 days. 26 days of your business not being able to function. That's across all market segments, all geographic regions, right? And so, you know,
that literally could be your business.
It could, and you know, yes, you can drown in a lake whose average depth is 1 inch. So I always say, like, numbers are funny things. You have to be careful how you interpret them. But this, you know, I know we're talking about insurance, and obviously this has obvious huge benefits for the insurance underwriting community as well as the customers of those products. But this problem extends all the way across the governance, risk, and compliance space as well, with compliance frameworks. Companies are taking point-in-time attestations and then expanding those to apply to time frames that, like, screenshots are fine for right now, but they don't tell me anything about tomorrow. They don't tell me anything about 3 weeks from now. And if you're doing this annually, all you're doing is providing attestations that things were configured the way you expect on that day. Drift happens, change happens, misconfigurations happen. And so being able to render that in an immutable form in real time that is then shareable from the customer to the insurer has a huge benefit. Because, I mean, we're seeing the market mature so rapidly, Max, and you're way closer to the insurance side than I am. But I mean, even 6 months ago, we were seeing security questionnaires from insurers that said things like, do you own email security licenses? And that's the only question. Not how are they deployed, not are they configured properly. Did you even buy the licenses? And that was the starting point.
And that's what I see as fun in our opportunity, and just being over the last couple of weeks, the engagement around the RSA conference, or where in my travels and phone calls with insurers, is we've had a number of inbound. I don't think the insurers actually thought it was possible to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it. I think the reason is that they've been told this a lot. There are some insurance providers, Alpha Secures one, that Coalition's another, that after an account binds, they can begin to see inside of the organization's estate if their insured allows them to. But no one's able to do and validate it before you go seek your insurance. Left of submission is what we like to talk about. And I don't think they actually believed it to be possible, Josh, which is why I think when we were starting on this journey, they literally said to us, like you said, proof of purchase, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, what does that do for you?
That's the best we can get. Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So guys, when you bring MDR into this equation, and one of the things we wanted to bring up today was specifically with Sophos MDR. And from what I'm seeing it do for my customers, it's bringing continuous data flows from MDR as real-time evidence to the insurers that they're doing what they need to be doing, right? And they are protected. And so should an incident occur, they have a much more comfort zone that the customer has done everything in their power to secure their environment. And the customer feels more secure that the insurer is going to pay out because they've had that continual flow of data, right? Have I got that correct?
I think, but I think it's even more than that, Karen. And I think, MDR is particularly for small and medium-sized businesses, but not exclusively to them. MDR we know is valuable operationally for them because they typically outsource a lot of their SMBs outsource a lot of their IT, sometimes all of it, sometimes all of their security, usually all of their security to MSSPs, right? And we know from looking at actual breach data that MDR, if you're a Sophos MDR customer, you have something like a 0.001% breach frequency, which is incredibly low. And so that is a signal that makes all the insurers' ears perk up. And it's not just, did you buy MDR licenses? But they want to know, is it configured properly, which includes things like, do you have automated response from your MDR provider enabled, which means if they see something funky, they can go action it immediately. They don't have to call, they don't have to open a ticket, they can just action it. And we know in the industry, is the security industry, is anyone can and will be breached. But the question is, how quickly can you detect it and how quickly can you mitigate it? And so if you have an automated response capability, eyes in the sky that are watching your environment 24/7, if you can shrink that exposure window as small as possible, that means the impact to your business is going to be smaller, and the impact, your ability to recover quickly and get back online is going to be faster. And that's why it's so critical for the underwriters. But it's only critical for the underwriters if you can validate and verify with proof that those aspects of it are all true.
And to your point, Karen, the underwriters, their job is to pay claims. Many people in the world think the insurance company's job is to find a reason not to. Their job is to underwrite a book that makes a promise to pay a claim and you pay that claim. Where they go sideways is when they have an unexpected loss paid. And that's where they think they're getting tripped up because they have an attestation that says one thing, reality was different at the time of the event. If we can eliminate that gap on the front end, validation, proof, same is true on the back, where suddenly the claims do get paid that they expect to pay, and they spend a lot less time investigating it and sort of arguing over it. And that would be a very helpful thing for the insurance community. It goes all the way back to capital, to cash. It helps them to be more effective and efficient with their cash.
It does. And to me, if they're having the MDR piece in play with continuous data flows, they're going to pay out less claims because the customers are going to be better protected. Like maybe that's a simple form there, but
right. Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
So it's a win on all sides.
It is. And that was one of the mind-blowing things for me coming in, without much of an insurance background, right? Is like, wait a minute, everyone benefits in this situation. Like the insurers benefit, the brokers benefit, the customers benefit. Why has no one done this already? Like it seems so obvious. And I think the insurance industry moves slowly. They're risk averse by design, right? But like Max said, we're getting terrific response from this. We've had multiple other large vendors reach out when they saw what we're doing with Sophos, and they want in on the game as well. And there's a bit of FOMO, right? So now we have other brokers, other carriers who are like, well, wait, we want to play too, which is great. Like we think everybody should be able to benefit from this, and we're delighted to be able to offer this service.
Yeah, and I'm delighted to be partnering with you to do that. This was a great conversation. I think we've really fleshed out some really interesting topics, and I'm sure that we will get together again and expand on this topic as it continues to evolve. But for now, I think we've hopefully piqued some of our people's interest who are watching this. So if anyone would like more information or to schedule time with Josh or Max and I, we would love to talk to you. So please reach out. And gentlemen, pleasure as always. And I look forward to doing this again soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Karen.
Glad to be here.